Alright, welcome to episode 31 of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode then, we had a major war occur down here in Persia. I don't have the old map up, here's just the completely altered map. So if we look over at Mesopotamia, we can see they annexed these territories that connect them over to the Caspian Sea. The Tehran country expanded up to this area of the Caspian. I guess it's like Daman, that's the city over here, I'm not really sure. They lost a lot of land. The Omani country took some of the religious areas of the Pink Team, whilst also taking land from this Gulf country, whilst Hijaz also expanded over here, of course. Like 5 new countries were made out of these eastern areas of Persia, and the Blue Team took a lot of land from Persia, taking just all of this stuff. That's a lot of land. They're a big country now. Well, they already were. They're also the strongest country now, which is pretty interesting. However, we have these 5 new countries as their ideologies. Hello. We have 1 absolute monarchy, 2 null monarchies, and 2 councils up here in the north. These 2 countries over here are still absolute monarchies, whilst everyone else is exactly the same. They lost a bit of land. The blue country. Oh, poor blue country. The provinces here are really, really bad. I'm so glad I didn't draw them. But yeah, this is probably the province that is causing the problems right over here. Anyway, the green and this country lost a lot of land. It is what it is. They'll be fine, probably. Whilst the Salmonish country also gained a lot of land as well. This country, which is like Odisha, I suppose, they gained this bit, so that's cool. And Bengal got nothing. Anyway, first off, let's head over to Central Asia, because they will be doing something pretty predictable, which is uniting with the Tehran country. So they expand into all this territory. They are going to keep this as the sort of cultural capital city. They're not going to move their capital back here, but they do have a city, a second capital here now, which is linked to their old ancestry being here. And they almost control the entire Caspian Sea. They just kind of need like this bit and this bit. And otherwise, they could do it. That'd be pretty cool. Don't know if they will. I really don't know. I mean, they just kind of do it randomly. But we'll see. Maybe they will. Heading over to this country then, they are kind of not in a great spot. They have 4 major cities, you have 0. However, it looks like over to this layer where I find colors, and try and make it a color suitable for this area. I don't know if I can really. I'm probably going to struggle with that, but just because there's already kind of like the red Karnataka. Yeah, I've been looking at lots of areas where these countries are, so I can give them more accurate names. So there's that. But I think we're going to be spitting out a new country right over here. You can hear a phone call in the background. Don't worry about that. I probably need to go answer that, but I won't. So here's our new country. I'm just going to give them a bit of land so they actually fully own this city. But yeah, it doesn't look amazing. It does not look excellent. However, it is a new country. So where is the red country going to be put in their capital city? Well, we need to make that not 20. Let's put it right over here. Makes a lot of sense. This one's kind of not in their territory. But there you go. So the beige country has been split into 2, with this new nation being created. I don't know. We'll see what it does. Probably not that much. Anyway, now we can head over to Bengal. And with new money they've gained from the war, they're going to actually take over this stuff, which they had before, don't worry. I just never colored it in. They also take over this island, which I thought they owned a while ago. This country is still Bengali. I always kind of forget their home actually is in Bengal, not elsewhere. Also, oops. Do we not meant to occupy that territory? But the main reason that I'm coming over here to Bengal is so they can fully colonize this Malaysian area, finally, after spending so long with it not being owned by anybody. They also take over this sort of Singapore area, and now their nation is very big and long. I might also expand them northwards just because I can. And this is always happening with this country. They're just always being sent upwards. But, you know, once you get past the mountains, maybe it's alright over here. I don't know when you get past the mountains though. This entire area is kind of close to Tibet, so probably after a while. Going to expand the green country as well. That country is getting a bit too far into this direction for my liking, but we'll see. We'll see how the borders look. This is kind of alright, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit strange, but it's okay. I might do that with a couple more countries, just because if I don't do expansion, I will forget. And also, I need to do more stuff in China. As in, I have another event in China in today's episode. Not a very exciting one. Don't worry, it's just trade route stuff. But I do need to do that. Also, this video hasn't been very interesting yet. We need to look at more interesting things happening in the world. That is the entire premise of this. The reddish-brown country will also take over this bit of land, so the pinkish country has no more land to expand into. Going over to the Baikal nation, they will expand southwards. Good old Baikal. One of the biggest countries in the entire world at this point. So they're massive, and the pink team will pull off a maneuver, taking a lot of the central territory. But yeah, let's just do something like that. I'm just going to give them this land as well. I didn't like how that looks. There you go, cool. So here's our new map of China. I hate it when I do like loads of expansion because I feel like it's pretty boring. But we're going to expand this goldish coloured country into the central regions of the Far East. So there you go, you can take all that stuff over. Lovely. But it's going to really help your economy a load. A load of snow and ice. Wimikon, coldest habited place, I think. Also, let's go over to these islands just because we can. So the Koreans have now got very close to this area of Russia, which is Kamchatka. I think they could probably make a colony here pretty soon. They just won't yet. Anyway, what was I going to do in China? Otherwise, trade routes. That's right. Yeah. Stupid. That's alliances. Trade routes. There we go. So, I haven't had trade routes in a while. So they should have changed a lot since then. Looking at trade routes, I do need to turn major cities on for this because they're pretty important. So we head over to this city, head around to the capital of the brown team, and a trade route here will just follow the coast sort of all the way around Southeast Asia. Now, is this going to be the major route or is there going to be a cut across? Probably going to be a cut across. However, it's going to look something like this, and eventually, probably there's no cities on this coast, which is funny. It reaches the other side around here. We do see a second. Let's not do it there. Let's maybe do it right over here. I don't know. Let's do one right over here. That makes sense. Goes, follows through these cities, reaches the capital of the pink country, and heads up north. That's all right. The pink country's got a major city, and I did it on the wrong layer. I might just be stupid. Oh my. How do I achieve this? All right, we're going to speed through it, guys. Sorry, this is... my incompetence is just incredible to be... Oh my. Incredible to behold. Yeah, I don't know how I managed that. There you go. So they take over this stuff. Well, not take over, but they make some new trade routes over here. They connect it with all this Indochina stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Go into the capital of the green country. Blah, 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 blah. Follow along the coast into the orange country. And then we can do this line all the way through Laos, Thailand, into Vietnam, and connect up with this. Cool. So now the trade routes of Asia are complete, finally, after them being incomplete for so long. Europe's also pretty done. I don't want to look at trade routes again for a while, so we're not going to. Let's go over to Denmark. Denmark's got to do some important stuff, and the important thing that Denmark is doing today, at least at this point, they're going to do some more important stuff. Don't worry. Is invading Scotland. I don't know why I do that. It's like some strange thing that I do. Make that noise. So Scotland has not a huge load of major cities. They actually lost their origin place, which is the Shetland Islands. However, the Danes will begin their invasion. So they take over this city. It used to be part of the sort of Northumbria country. They also push over here and take this city, and they're doing very well. That's kind of where like Glasgow and Edinburgh are. So they take that. They're also going to invade towards the Orkney Islands. There's a major battle over here. Which part is this? I don't know what's up here. Oh wait, is it Land's End? I don't know. There's some other place. There's a funny named place on this island and on this island. Let's see if you can find it. They continue along the northern coast. They invade into these islands. However, we see another country join this war, which is actually going to be the Irish country, or the Connaught. I don't know, Connaught country. They invade into these western areas, like Isle of Arran is, I think, that island maybe. and just take over generally list stuff. The Danes don't care a huge lot about this. They've already got lots of territories to go across the Atlantic, and after this we see the Scottish just capitulate over to the Danes. So in a peace treaty, which shouldn't be too tricky, we're going to see the Irish and the Danish divide up the Scottish nation. So let's do that then. Ireland will take over all of this sort of western territory. Makes sense. Getting around into these areas. So does that look alright? I hope so. All these islands also pass over to the Irish, so Irish islands, great. And yeah, that looks okay. Well, not amazing. I don't know why I made the provinces look like that over there, so I'm going to change that. Because I can, and it's my video. So, yeah. We're going to just alter the provinces a little bit, so it looks slightly better. And I also might get the Irish, this province. There you go. Let's make your colony look a little bit better. I think so. And as for the rest of Scotland, it will pass over to Danish control. So the Danes have a new country under their belt. And at this point, I need to look at the power rankings actually. Yeah, but the Danish Empire in Britain is pretty massive at this point. Alright, looking at power rankings, they have changed significantly. With Central Asia number 1, of course. Hijaz is now number 2. Pretty big for them. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. Mesopotamia is in number 3. Bulgaria in number 4. 1565 at this point. Korea, I mean, it makes sense. They're pretty strong. Japan is quite industrialized now, but no. Well, not industrialized, but you know what I mean. Denmark in 6th. Look at their empire. Spain in 7th. Oh my, the Spanish. Making a lot of money. Greece is now in 8th. Carthage in 9th. And Bengal in 10th. We're going to see more changes to these power rankings. Don't worry. There's quite a few more rising powers in the world. Possibly this country. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for what the future holds for this world. Anyway, let's go over to Denmark once again, because they're going to be going properly to America now. However, they're still just staying in the boring Arctic stuff as the Danish make a colony. A pretty large one actually. Over here on the Baffin Island, or on Baffin Island. So they make this total territory thing. They take over some islands. Probably not that island. You can have that back, Canadian stuff. The other thing the Danes do is just explore this entire coastline. Well, not this entire thing, but they mostly just get a small land over here. You know what? There you go, Denmark. They're going to connect up this because there's no point. However, they are going to make one settlement over here in Newfoundland, right over in this peninsula. The Danes have a new colony, which is a Newfoundland colony. We'll see how they expand this in the following episodes. Colonization is pretty slow at this point, but the Danes have a lot of land, and they're pretty strong. Heading over to the Caribbean areas then, we see the Spanish make a colony in Jamaica, so that's their island now. And we also see the Spanish make their way down to Trinidad and Tobago, colonizing yet another couple of islands. They make a landing here in Venezuela and Guyana, or if you're Venezuelan, just Venezuela. Venezuelan claims, let's go. And I think that's Aruba, never mind, these are not the Dutch islands. So, Aruba and Curacao, I can't speak Dutch, I don't know. Meanwhile, the Pyrenees country will make a landing here in Florida and set up a relatively large colony actually in southern Florida. So there you go. Colonization underway. Florida makes probably quite a lot of money for these guys. Maybe not in like tourism and stuff, but yeah, it's definitely probably up there. So America's getting discovered. However, West Africa is also getting discovered. So we're going to head over to West Africa then, as I said before. Yep, and form a new country right over here, kind of like Mauritania, Senegal area. Well, this is Mauritania. And this is what it's going to look like. It's just a group of Moroccan people who went, you know what, I don't like Morocco. Let's go live in the desert, because that sounds really fun. So, they go and do that. Good job. Their capital city is going to lie right over here. It's not a very built-up country, as far as countries are concerned. But it's also very new, so maybe we're judging it a bit much. Anyway, there you go, there's that. You can also head over to the other side of Africa, where we have the Tanzanian country, I don't know how much I like that color that much. It's really bright. I might change it in the future, but at the moment I'm just going to keep it. They will move over to the coast around here in Kenya. I think I might also expand them around the, what's it called? Lake Tanzania. Lake Victoria, there we go. Lake Tanzania. That's Lake Tanganyika down there. That's a good thing. Let's also give them those islands as well. Right, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything because you're boring. Over here to Europe then, we see the Ukrainians do an invasion. Good job, Ukraine. Ukraine will obviously be going after this country. Well, not obviously. They could go after a lot of different countries. But they're going to go after this one. It's going to be not really a tricky invasion. They pretty quickly occupy the capital. They have Turkish support in this, and Turkey is one of the stronger countries, along with, actually no, it's just Turkish support going into their country. They also take over the coastal areas around here, and try to push out towards this city, which they're not quite successful in, but the Romanian country is going down. The Bulgarians will be very quick to jump onto this. They like land. That makes sense. They invade and take this, well, protect this city, whilst also moving in these northern areas, moving towards this city, which causes the pressure to become too much of the city, and it falls over to Ukrainian forces within like a week after the Bulgarian invasion. We see them move out towards this city, and finally other countries are going to get involved. The other country being this sort of... Which area is this? Is it Transylvania, maybe? Maybe, I'm not sure. Hungary's over here. So, is this Transylvania? Or is it maybe southern Ukraine or Slovakia? I don't know. Anyway, they do a reasonably good job. I don't think they've ever gone to war before, so this is new for them. And their military is actually kind of alright. So, well done to them. After this, the Ukrainians take over the northern area, and the Bulgarians, I mean, you get the picture, but they take over the southern area. So there you go. Here is the peace treaty to divide up the Romanian state. Cool. Not sure they're going to really enjoy this. Also, it might kind of take a while, because European provinces, why did I draw them like this? There's so many of them. The Ukrainians are going to take over a lot of this northern stuff. However, they're kind of... Well, I was going to say kind of nice, but no, you're taking over their country. They're not going to like that. Also, I don't know why the borders do this. It's annoying. Our provinces are like that. The Bulgarians, I like the Bulgarian borders. I don't want their borders to look disgusting, but unfortunately, I think I might just ruin them over here. So that'll be fun. They take over this land. I'm not sure it's very profitable territory. How they take it over, they don't mind. It's territory. So that's nice. For the Bulgarians, they get this and this, and also take over this random blobby bit. As for Transylvania, they're going to ruin their really cool eastern border by taking over all of this stuff. Maybe it'll ruin. Maybe they'll be fine. However, the Romanian country will be allowed to live as this shell of a former country. So that's nice. Good old Ukrainian people. Well, we should be nice to Ukraine. Anyway, now the Ukrainian state is massive. The Bulgarians have also expanded, and they look horrific. This is amazing. I'm fully convinced this is just a great thing for the world. Why Bulgaria? Why? I'm going to give this province over to the Transylvanians in the desperate hope that it improves the Bulgarian borders. However, I think that may be in vain. I think it may actually make them a lot worse. I've been trying to get better at drawing borders, but this is tolerable. Cool. The final thing for today's episode, because it's already like 19 minutes long, is Druidic, what's it called? Fanaticism. The Druidic people are very much like, we need to, they can see what's going on here in Hijaz and how successful the Hijaz religion is being. If we look at that, I mean, it's not, basically this map is disgusting, but Ethiopia, you got Hijaz people, mostly the red religion, how there's the African religion and also the Indian religion here on the coast. Socotra is apparently just atheist, so that's funny. So are these islands. Anyway, they're not actually, but oh well. They can see how successful it's being in Hijaz and how well they're doing with their religion. So the Druidic stuff up here in the north, which is just all of this sort of area, actually more because I haven't updated the Lapland country and their religiousness, because they are a theocratic nation at this point. To be honest, the strongest countries in this group, it's like maybe the Latvian one,
they're all kind of mid powers. Finland and Latvia might be slightly above average. You two probably at average, maybe a bit above. You two are this Lapland country is one of the poorest countries in the world though. Mark my words. Yeah, very weak. Anyway, they are doing some really fanatic stuff, and the Holy Polish Empire, especially, is extremely opposed to this and just goes, it's very against what's going on here. So they stop any Druidic religion happening in any of these four countries. I mean, the Danish Empire is pretty big, so that's a lot of area. And yeah, we'll see if this turns into anything in the future, but it could be quite relevant to something, but probably not in the way you expect. So, yeah, there you go. That's the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Comment any changes you want to see in the future. Colonization. Loads of stuff, like Africa's doing things now. I didn't think it was allowed to do that, but the world is finally going more interesting. Got a few more interesting wars in the future, a few new countries in today's episode. The Irish are doing stuff, and yeah, thanks for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.